A flash review of Like, Comment, Subscribe, inside YouTube's chaotic rise to world domination by tech writer Mark Bergen, published in 2022, started in 2019, takes YouTube from its founding in 2005 right up until kind of present pandemic days. Gives you kind of a fairly good potted history of what happened on the public side of YouTube. All the various things. Starts off with the shooting in New Zealand Mosque of Christchurch with the shooter saying subscribe to PewDiePie before starting his shooting spree. But you get problems with copyright content, with pornography being overcome, but the much more thorny thing of what's acceptable, what's advertiser friendly, getting the adpocalypse and Logan Paul and various PewDiePie eruptions, stuff like that. But the most interesting thing about this is that Mark Bergen interviewed 300 people, 160 of whom were people who actually worked or do work in YouTube or Google parent company, Alphabet, I guess. And so you get to see kind of behind the scenes of kind of the corporate thought behind this ad selling company. And yeah, so it takes you through that in kind of interesting ways of how, this is really at the end of the day, despite having individuals in the company who obviously mean well and want to do good, that it's a corporation that wants to make money, and that it's a monopoly, so it doesn't particularly have to listen to the people who provide content on it. There could have been maybe a little bit more background in the idea of how this is, post the tech bubble popping, this new idea of having sites where the users are also the content creators, and that YouTube itself has, and it does actually address this, that YouTube actually did figure out how to pay its content creators in a meaningful way, at least the big ones who are actually making the money. But YouTube has had this yin yang of not wanting to be involved in the content, very much trying to keep it kind of just kind of the old school kind of libertarian all speech, except for the worst kind of active hate speech, which they've still had issues with. So it's one of these books where you want to launch into a whole bunch of different discussions after having read the book, which I think is a good sign. Stuff about monopoly, stuff about how it treats more marginalized groups on the thing, how it is going to kind of, with the continuing evolution of content regulation, of moderating it. YouTube has very unwillingly been dragged into that, and the ethos behind the company of being very kind of engineer. This has to be scalable. This has to be something that we can do with computer algorithm. The algorithm being the magic word that gets thrown around about all of how the YouTube god algorithm might favor you one day and then crashes down and it changes the next. And yeah, so interesting book, one that I think even if you're someone like me who was pretty aware of all the public facing controversies about YouTube, it's interesting in just trying to kind of slowly kind of pry off the covers on what is a pretty purposely quiet, obscure, they don't like to be in the public eye, this company. They've avoided a lot of the fiascos of something like Facebook, where is held up as one of the bad actors of the internet, yet probably as equally forceful, dominant, and has had as much good and as negative as some place like Facebook. All right, that's my thoughts for right now. More videos later.